Hey everybody, how you doing? This is the one and only Nicodemus again, aka Smooth Bink, aka Bink, aka James, aka Peace God, whatever you want to call me, man. Hey dude, what's up? How's you doing, that dude? I'm doing that dude is doing good. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to call me. How y'all doing today? My first video that I did went okay. You know what I'm saying? I kind of talked about an hour longer than I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? As I started getting more comfortable and comfortable with this podcast concept. You know what I'm saying? Figured I'd come on here and talk about a few more things today. I was kind of bored. You know what I'm saying? So I figured, why not get on up here and, you know what I'm saying, do some talking. You know what I mean? But first of all, I just want to say how y'all doing. Appreciate you checking in on me. Y'all could be anywhere in the world, but you decided to sit back and watch and hear me talk shit. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or talk stuff that I think I know a lot about. You know what I mean? But anyway, my last topic was about women. You know what I'm saying? I think this topic, I was going to talk about the men. I know I can go forever with them, with us. But I think, to be honest with you, I think I'm going to save those topics. Right now, I'm just chilling right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm just pretty much, whatever pops in my head is pretty much what I'm going to talk about. But I did say in my other videos, I wanted to talk about the crack epidemic and what it did to my generation and beyond, and all the ramifications that came with it. I was going to talk about the movies. Definitely want to talk about the music and how that's changed from the times where, that's what there you go. That's what we can talk about. We can talk about music. You know what I'm saying? And its impact on the youth and on my generation and beyond. You know what I mean? We could talk about that, especially being since hip hop is turned 50 years old. Actually, I think it's a little older than that, but they had to give it an age. They had to start somewhere, I guess. Well, let's take it back to the beginning, shall we? All right, so in the beginning, and when I say in the beginning, I'm not talking about Genesis. I'm talking about like the beginning of my generation, my life. You know what I'm saying? In the beginning, ladies and gentlemen, there was no rap. We're talking, all right, let's see. I'm a 73 baby. Let's see. I've been in tune with music ever since I was in my mom's womb, but where it really actually clicked for me to where I knew that I got to do something with music at a young age had to be about 3 or 4. So we gonna say 1976 and beyond, 1977, 1976. From that point on, I was hooked. But there was no rap. There was no hip hop at that time. All we had was old school, the hip hop, BBD bop, rock, country, R&B, but the R&B was different than it is now. You know what I'm saying? There really wasn't no pop back then. You know what I'm saying? There really wasn't no pop. Michael Jackson was just starting to come out. You know what I'm saying? Prince was just starting to come out. Parliament and Funkadelic. I'm gonna say during that time when I was a kid, I'm gonna say Parliament and Funkadelic, Cool Herc, Melly Mel, Grandmaster Cash, Grandmaster Flash, all of those African Bambaataa, those to me was like the forefathers of hip hop, that what we call rap right now. They were the forefathers because before they came out, or during the time where they was getting established over here in New York, in Bronx, we had West Coast music, but the West Coast music was considered breakdance music. You know what I'm saying? And that was also the birth of hip hop, but on the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? So we had a form of hip hop forming in the Bronx, in New York, and then simultaneously, maybe a few years later, after that, around about the same time, we started getting this breakdancing music, which was really techno, but to a higher pitch beat. You know what I'm saying? To the point where we could actually, breakdance off of it, and that form of music ushered in breakdancing, which was another form of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? That's been kind of gone, that's faded and left us. But that also was a form of hip hop when I'm talking about music. So you had breakdance music from the West Coast, Roger and Zapp and all that, Parliament Funkadelic, all that. And then on the West Coast, and then on the East Coast, you had, Kool Herc and them doing what they was doing with the taking sometimes the same songs from the West Coast, taking the songs and looping it over and over again, and just looping a simple track, and then taking that simple track, and then an MC, which was the birth of a rapper, an MC would get on there. Sometimes a DJ, sometimes a separate guy. An MC would get up there, and he would make now we would consider those to be childhood elementary rhymes, but back then that was the norm and that was the standard. You know what I'm saying? With the hip hop, the hibbity hip hop, that type of style of rapping and cadence. And that was cool for a while, but then we also had our breakdancing music going on over there on the West Coast too. So we had a lot of options. You know what I'm saying? And this is the very beginning, the birth of hip hop. So we go from there to now. I'm gonna go up a couple more years. Now we're in the early 80s. Early 80s, right? So now you got people that's taking those instrumentals that Kool Herc was doing, you know what I'm saying, off the block, strictly off the block. Now you have people like saying, you know what, man? We get an MC and a good little DJ, we put them two together, we put them on wax, man, we might be able to come out with a nice song. We might be able to make a song. So, and that's what happened, man. The MCs actually, for real, they started taping the sessions with the MCs and the DJs, and then that turned into record deals, which turned into, people getting deals and people making songs, which helped usher in the hip hop era and the hip hop movement. Like I still remember da ha da ha da ha 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 ha, and double Dutch bus coming down the street. Good to see you. Good to see. I remember all that. You know what I'm saying? And party people, say gon' get funky. So Sonic Voice say gon' get funky. Yeah, so I remember all that, man. That was like the birth, the beginnings of hip hop. And then of course we had, once the birth of hip hop was brandished in the Bronx, New York, then the West Coast followed suit. You know what I'm saying? The earliest cats I can remember from the East Coast back when I was a kid, I remember Too Short. I remember Ice-T, when Ice-T was a gangster rapper, not this person you see on TV now. He was a gangster rapper. Actually, he was like a pimp, for real. Yeah, Ice-T, him, King's Son. This is before Death Row, Snoop, all that. This is before NWA. NWA came out about that time. We had NWA, yeah, NWA. Um, yeah, man. DJ Quick was coming out. DJ Quick been in the game for a while. You know what I'm saying? E40 didn't come out until the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Pop didn't hit the West Coast until, well, he was at the West Coast, but he wasn't rapping there. He was a little kid. But anyway, um, hold on, y'all. What I do? Hold on. Excuse me. All right, so we in the early '80s and all that is out. We had cats like Paul Hardcastle. He was another guy that kind of ushered in hip hop. And you also got to remember, man, at the same time hip hop is in its infancy and is being born, you still had people, other races, white guys. They was making breakdancing music, and that still was kind of relevant because that's what we was used to. Hip hop was still in its infancy. We was gravitating to it, but guys were still making banging ass breakdance music. And what I mean by banging ass breakdance music is pretty much an instrumental, and you just dance off of it. You know what I mean? It's pretty much an instrumental, and you just break dance off of it. But anyway, so you had guys like Paul Hardcastle. He made 19 and all that, and yeah, this is before Def Jam. This is before LL Cool J and all that, you know. So let's go forward a little bit. Go forward a little bit in time, because during that time period, I was in the elementary school, and the only raps I can remember, because remember, raps in its infancy, was Roxanne Revenge, UTFO. Roxanne was like the biggest hit. Then they came out, and what was after that? Then what I can remember a little bit after that was Slick Rick. Slick Rick came out. No, Slick Rick's a little later. Slick Rick came out a little bit later after that, maybe a couple of years after that. But while I was in elementary school, it was Roxanne, UTFO. Damn, that's basically all I can remember. Roxanne, UTFO, and all them. Yeah, that's it. Oh, how could I forget MC Shan and fucking goddamn KRS-One and the battles that they had, the Bridge Is Over. You know what I'm saying? That was also a pivotal point in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to remember, man, hip hop is in its infancy, so we took hip hop pretty serious, and instead of, you know, you also have to remember there was no internet. So if you wanted to talk shit and you wanted to resonate amongst the people, amongst your city, amongst your crowd, and you had lyrical skills, you would make a diss track, and hopefully it becomes a hit and it plays over and over and over again, and then there you go. You know what I'm saying? There's your internet. But that's pretty much how it went back in the days, man. You make a little diss track, and they would play it on the radio, and they get a response, and then the person who got dissed would hear it and be like, look, I got to come back with something hard. And then that would just keep hip-hop going, man. It was just a friendly game of baseball, man. You know what I'm saying? Nobody got shot, nobody got killed, none of that. You know what I'm saying? Because it was an art form. That's it. People take this shit personally, man. Oh, you're not supposed to take it personal, man. But anyway, so then we got LL Cool J. You know what I'm saying? He going against want me to get him? Well, I got him. My mouth is an Uzi, and I shot him with 100 rhymes. Was Kool Moe Dee? So yeah, him and Kool Moe Dee go at it. I remember that. Jack the Ripper, King Hercules. I remember all that. They go at it. Again, nobody got killed. No rappers got harmed in the production of these tracks that was coming out while I was in elementary school and middle school. I don't know why I'm focusing just on the beats though, but it was way more to hip hop than just the beats. We had Fat Boys. I mean, you had the Beastie Boys. I mean, if you weren't on a Def Jam label, man, you pretty much at this time, if you weren't on Def Jam, then you weren't getting heard, because pretty much everybody in the rap game was either Def Jam or Tommy Boy. You know what I'm saying? So if you wasn't on any one of those labels, you wasn't getting heard. And the artists that they were producing were great artists at the time. And you also had to remember, man, rap in its infancy would fact check you. You couldn't get on there and just talk about, oh, I did this, I did that, and not have your receipts, because somebody would fact check you real quick. You know what I'm saying? They didn't play that fake shit when hip hop first came out. You had to represent exactly what the fuck you was saying. You know what I'm saying? You know, so yeah, so we had that, and we had the female rappers, which I loved. You know what I'm saying? Because during this time, they kept their clothes on. You know what I'm saying? And they just basically focused on their lyrical content. MC Light, Roxanne Shante, Sweet Tea, Moni Love, Queen Latifah. I'm going up now. I'm going up. But back in the days, we only had MC Light, and I can't think of anybody else. We had Salt and Pepper later. Salt and Pepper around about the same time. Salt and Pepper. I can't really think of nobody else. Boss, but Boss was later. That's pretty much it, man. Rap was, when it was in its infancy, man, rap was great. You know what I'm saying? It was great. It really didn't have any rules. It was all about, it was high frequency. Everything is basically, that's another thing I want to talk to y'all about, man, when it comes to music, man. Music, hits, songs that we like, everything dealing with music is based off of frequencies. You know what I'm saying? High frequency, low frequencies, vibrations. The majority of the music that was coming out when rap first dropped was on high vibrations. That's why it was easy for us to break dance and have all that energy to be able to do flares and spin on our heads and all that. You know what I'm saying? Because it had high vibration, high frequency. The R&B music that was out during that time, your Teddy Pendergrass, your Stevie Wonders, your Tina Turners, your Full Forces, your Ready for the World, your Michael Jackson and them was out then. Love Overboard, who is that? Stacey Lattisaw. You had what's her name? Aretha Franklin. I mean, we had some real R&B singers. You had the Whispers, man. You had, bro. Come on now. You had the Whispers, you had the Commodores, you had Frankie Beverly, Maze. Oh man, come on, man. That was some great goddamn music, man. Wonderful, beautiful music. You know what I'm saying? So, and those came with different vibrations. You know what I'm saying? That's why, even to this day, if you get a group of us in my generation, you get a group of us together at a sitting and you play a certain song or Frankie Beverly, down, 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 if you play that, people gonna automatically get up. You know what I'm saying? Because it invokes a feeling. You know what I mean? So that's the R&B music that we kind of grew up on. You know what I'm saying? Rap was still in its infancy, so it really wasn't being respected then. It was like a hobby. Guys would put a song out, throw it on the radio. It really wasn't that serious. Rap didn't get serious until Run DMC. When Run DMC came along and commercialized rap, and they started getting commercials and Adidas and all that, that's when hip hop started getting serious. But before that, it was like a hobby, man. The content was different as well. You also got to remember the temperament at the time. At the time, the radios, the FCC, nobody allowed no cussing cross nowhere, cross no boards. You couldn't even form the word B without getting cut off or getting a serious fine or being kicked off of whatever radio station or what TV show. They didn't play that cussing word shit back in my generation. So the songs, and there's another reason why I liked the R&B songs back in my generation, because when you think about it and you put it in the context, they were pretty much saying the same things R. Kelly, the same things Plies and everybody else, Genuine, Jodeci. They were saying the same things Jodeci and them was saying, except for they were being indirect. In my generation, they started being very direct and using the real words to describe what the fuck they was talking about and what they wanted. In my generation, they used a little bit of creativity to be able to deliver a message. Basically to the point where if I'm a little kid, 6 years old, and I'm singing a Luther Vandross song, and he's talking about love, then my parents would never have to turn it off or defer me from that, because they know that while he's singing, he's going to sing it in a way that only the grown folks will know what the hell he's talking about. And he's going to use words that only the grown folks had to figure out and be like, oh yeah, I know what he's talking about. Whereas now when you make music, you can pretty much say exactly what the fuck you want and what you mean and how you mean it, how you want to say it. Back then, you couldn't say that. So you had to use creativity. You had to use words. Your wordplay, their wordplay was excellent. If I go back now and listen to all the songs in the early 80s and late 70s, R&B songs, and I translate them to these songs today, it'd be a totally different song. But because they use different words and different monotones, they were pretty much saying the same thing, but they were saying it in a different way and in a different light, if you get what I'm saying. In a subtle way. You know what I'm saying? Whereas now it's like a more vocal and blunt way now. Blunt way, But I liked that, man. That was pretty cool. And it made it so that we could actually listen to the song. They could play it on the radio, and it could, be a hit and generate, likes and everything. People go buy the album and the whole 9 yards. But now, it's not like that now. Now people say exactly what the fuck's on their mind. It's like, you ain't got to watch your mouth no more. You know what I'm saying? So, creativity, gone. But anyway, going back, so that was the kind of music that we grew up on, music like that. And they sung about love. Even the rap songs, let's go back to hip hop. Even in hip hop, we had a balance. We had a balance. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say in the early days of rap, we didn't have that gang bang, shoot 'em up. We did. NWA, Ice-T, all them, Just Ice, all them cats. Yeah, we did. But they were few far between. But we had a majority of how you doing rap, let's have fun rap, let's go to the party rap, let's go chill with the friends, let's go have a couple of drinks, get high. This is how we do it. That type of rap. You know what I'm saying? The happy, fun rap. So, your Tribe Called Quest and all that stuff, So we had a balance. Unlike now in today's music, everything is trap. Well, no, they're getting rid of trap now. The stuff they play on the radio now is like, it's like, I'm gonna kill you, or I'm gonna get with you, or if it's gay in the windows, or something like that, man. It's crazy, man. The way the rap's going right now, it's fucking crazy, But where's my fucking lighter, y'all? Hold on. Yeah, we had balance, man. We had structure and we had balance. You know what I'm saying? So once they figured that out, that was a wrap. It's a wrap. I'm gonna tell you how they figured that out. Now I'm up in high school. I remember, I specifically remember, there was a phase, I want to say in 89, 90, 89, 90 ish. And if you remember this, throw me a shout out in the comments, man. There was a phase in the 90s where, and I'm still talking about hip hop music, uh, there was a phase in the 90s where it was a black movement. It was like a I won't say civil rights, but rap had a black movement, a serious black movement, to the point where it had influenced us so much, and it had influenced us kids so much that I remember it had influenced us so much that we took Bart Simpson and made him black and put him on a T-shirt. And I specifically remember, I wish I still had that T-shirt. Lord knows, it'd be worth some money right now. But it said, "This is a black Bart, and you wouldn't understand." You know what I'm saying? And for us in school and the kids, that was our black movement. That was our movement for us. It brought us a sense of pride, believe it or not. On top of that, we also had the African movement, to where I forgot the group it was. I want to say was it African Bambaataa? Was it H Clan? X Clan? I can't remember who it was, but we had an African movement to where they started wearing the leather African star medallions. You know, it was a leather medallion made out of leather with a leather strap, and in the middle it had either African in green. It was the African continent, but it was in green, black, and red, or it had Nefertiti's head on it. Sometimes you had the gold necklace with that same type of design on it. But it was a black movement along with the black Bart shirt. So we would come to school with those medallions because we seen our favorite rappers wearing it, and we knew the message behind it. Apparently, once they figured out the influence that rap would have on the black community, they stopped it. But first, they told us, they hit the schools. They told everybody, they told all the school superintendents that we couldn't wear those black Bart shirts anymore. They said it was racist. They also tried to get us to not wear the medallions. And at this time, my women's, oh man, they was beautiful back then, and they were really women's. They had the Nefertiti earrings, you know, with the medallions, with their little medallions. They had the earrings to go with it. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, everything was, and during this time period, everything was African or Egyptian. You know what I'm saying? That was the move. And it was like they was trying to rap at that time, KRS-One, everybody else, you know, they was getting conscious, and they was trying to let us know that our history has been soiled. So they started giving us jewels through the rap songs. And you gotta understand, this is the beginning of rap, so there's no rules. The bosses didn't know the implications of what this would have to us moving forward as a generation. They know now, and that's the reason why rap is the way it is now. But before, rap was wide open. You could talk about anything, and it would be to the masses. But during that time, I would say that's the golden age of rap, because they was dropping jewels, man. Especially KRS-One specifically. He was really dropping jewels, letting us know, you know, about our history, You know what I'm saying? Because I was into rap heavy back then. I wanted to be a DJ. So anybody that came out, anybody that had videos, anybody that had a hit song, and whatever, I was on it. You know what I'm saying? And another thing too, ladies and gentlemen, you also got to remember this. We were living in the times where we had this movement, but we also had visual concepts to go with it. We had videos. I remember we used to rush home to go watch Sherry Carter and what's his name, dude with the green eyes, Donnie Simpson, and watch Video Soul. And then when that went off, we would watch Rap City with Carl Thomas. You know what I'm saying? This is way before Tigger and all that crazy stuff, man. You know, we had that. And they would have a top 10 countdown, who had the best videos, who was number one on the radio charts, blah, 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 blah. And we would record these videos, you know what I'm saying? So we could either learn a new dance or learn a song or just have something to look at when we get bored. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, now we have that through YouTube. But before the internet, this is what we had. The VCR was the internet. So we had that. We rush home, we watch videos, they drop jewels, we see the visual that goes with the drop of jewels, and that will leave impressions in our little minds. You know what I'm saying? You know? So, and that influenced us. There were songs like Be a Father to Your Child. You know what I'm saying? And all that. You don't hear songs like that no more. Brenda's Got a Baby, and he was talking about Tupac, Brenda's Got a Baby, and he was talking about downfalls of teenage pregnancy back when, you know, teenage pregnancy was blowing up. You know what I'm saying? He addressed that. I want to say Pete Rock and CL Smooth, Be a Father to Your Child. If I'm not, I think that's Pete Rock and CL Smooth. But anyway, if I'm not, correct me. He was letting us guys know, man, be a father to your child, bro, and it was a hit. That stuff resonates with us, bro. You know what I'm saying? They figured out, oh no, we can't have these conscious rappers putting jewels in these people's heads, and then when they get older, you know what I'm saying, we're not gonna be able to do MK Ultra and get them to do what we want to do because they got the right, they've been fed the right seeds. But we had that. You don't have that now. We had love in rap songs, in hip hop. Even though we had the shoot 'em up, bang bang, NWA, I'm gonna fuck you up shit, we still had love. People were still rapping about love. LL Cool J was still throwing us love songs, even after I Need Love. You know what I'm saying? Most of the major rappers did at least one song dedicated to the woman. You know what I'm saying? Tupac was one of them. You know what I'm saying? But we had that. So we had a balance of what we wanted to listen to. Now everything is one-sided. Turn on the radio, it's one-sided. There's no balance. Matter of fact, I can't even turn on the radio right now and hear a love song. What happened to all the love songs in this era, this generation, man? And they wonder why everybody run around shooting everybody, mad with each other, road rage, I'm gonna shoot you, I'm gonna kill you, and then lock me up. No, man, we didn't have that. It won't no road rage back when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because the value of life was higher. People wasn't on edge as much back then, and we had songs that moved us as a nation. Most of those songs was about people, human, love. We are the world. You know what I'm saying? We are the world. I remember, don't you know we got to put our things together, make a change. Then they did a self-destruction version over on the West Coast. I remember that. And I remember the original self-destruction in 86, 87. And the impact that had on us. But the main reason why those songs came out in the way it came out was because they was mentally and musically trying to get us through this crack era. They was trying to let us kids know, the kids that was going through the crack era, because our parents got fucked up. They was letting us know through the songs that, look, it's a better way. You ain't got to do that what your parents is doing. stay focused, da 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 da. Here's some history, yada yada yada. Let me rap about crack and let y'all know what it does to people and how you looking. You know what I'm saying? Just like here it is, bam, and you say, God damn, this is a dog jam. Night of the Bass Heads. He was trying to let us know, man. You know what I'm saying? They brought crack here, crack is here. Watch out, y'all. This is what y'all need to look out for. You know what I'm saying? Wake up. Genocide. So I'm gonna say the only good thing that came out of the crack era was the music. Almost kind of like during the Vietnam era and how that genre of music was fucking awesome because they was talking about uh, shit that was going on and political themes and things that they felt like was wrong. You know what I'm saying? So they made songs. And that's the reason why those songs are awesome and they still resonate to this day. And it also gives you a remnants of the times we was living in and what the American people was going through at that time as a young American. So we in the 80s now, and now crack is hit hard, and we got songs that's kind of getting us through. As kids, we're seeing what the crack is doing to our neighborhoods and to the whole United States, to the cities everywhere. We see it. You know what I'm saying? Me, thank you, Lord, I was able to use music as a guide to get me through that shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, literally use music to escape the matrix. You know what I'm saying? So, in doing so, I also developed a love for music for myself. I was in a band, all that stuff, learned all the instruments. I wanted to go to college and be a damn music teacher. So, yeah, I DJ'd a little bit. I was an expert beatboxer. I could recreate any song just by hearing it. I could hear a song twice and I got it, the beat and the lyrics. It just was like a mutant power or something. So that was my escape in the 80s when the crack era hit and the songs and the music that we got during that time period. Awesome music. You know what I'm saying? Very awesome. Get to the end of the 80s where we're talking about the Black Bart and all that. Still awesome music. We get to the 90s, and then that's when shit started getting fucked up. Let me explain. We get to the 90s, right? And unbeknownst to all of us during this time period, the big wigs got together. I'm talking about the big wigs, the check pushers got together and said, you know what? We see how rap music is influencing today's youth. We already see that with the black movement and all that, with these rappers putting on clothes, putting on jewelry, the kids going out and doing the same thing. We see that. And then the message that they're putting out is too positive. We don't need for them to know too much about themselves. So we got Muslim rappers, we got Christian rappers, we got 5%ers, you know what I'm saying? They're coming out and we got to put a plug. We can't have these people knowing true knowledge of themselves because then we'll lose power. So they got together and said, hey, all right, let's all meet somewhere nice and fancy. So they'll go all meet somewhere nice and fancy. They all sit around, probably had a bunch of knowing how the way the world works. They probably had underage women walking around naked, probably making deals. The outcome of that meeting was to pretty much form a directive for any other artist, any other A&R that's going to put anybody out. We're going to focus on a certain directive. Because as we're speaking, ladies and gentlemen, we also have similar interests in the penal system. So people look around like, what? Penal system? What? Who getting locked up? This is how this is going to work, ladies and gentlemen. And this will all make sense to you in a minute. We are going to push the NWA type of music from here on out. We will no longer treat it as in the past to where we was trying to go after these people. We was going to try to lock them up, and all they do is just use their Fourth Amendment right, the freedom of speech, or freedom of expression, freedom of art, and we can't censor that. So, since we can't beat them, let's join them. How about this? How about we make all music that with that type of vibration and that type of content? And since we already know what the kids did in the 80s with the black barks and medallions, if we push this type of music now, starting right now, with the new artists that we can project from here on out, then we can make it so that they'll actually go out and do these things that these rappers are saying, and they'll probably end up in jail. Now, why is that important? Well, it's like a farming industry. Think about it. If I fucking put a rapper out and all he raps about, and I want him to rap about, is killing, deaths, rapes, selling drugs and all this and that, eventually the kids are going to glorify that, and his fans are going to get locked up. As they're getting locked up, I have interest in investments in the local jails where this rapper is from. But we're going to put this more on a continental, global scale, and we're going to invest in all of the prison systems all over the world. So that way we can get all his fans acting that way, and then all his fans will be locked up. Now, if we were to do this with every single artist from this point on, all the way up to 2024, then the penal system should be full, and I should be not only will I be getting a return off of the rappers, because the 360 deal is set up so that we're gonna always remain rich. Not only am I gonna get a return off that, but I'm also gonna get a return off of him when he gets locked up, because he's in the penal system and I already invested in it. I will give you time to convene. Think about it. Everybody want to say yay, say yay. Everybody say nay. Leave the building. We are going to do this. We are building jails, private jails right now. We are going to do this, and we're already setting this in stone. So it's either you get with it or you get out. And that's what happened. And if you notice, I'm only speaking on people that's in my generation that's saw the birth of rap, that's been around, that's been born way before rap was even conceived, that was like old enough to remember R&B and breakdance music and Cool Herc and all them doing the hippity hop, doing like little stuff like that on the block. And they putting them on tapes and we listening to it. And it wasn't on the radio. Nobody had a record deal. It was just hobbies. I remember that. You know what I'm saying? So to go from that to now, after what I just said, when you think about it, it changed. Rap changed, I'm going to say, in the 90s. When the emergence of Biggie Smalls, when Biggie Smalls and Tupac came into the game, 90 and 91. No, 91. Pac came in the game in 91, and Biggie came in the game, I want to say, and he was in the game in 93, but he didn't drop until like 94, somewhere around there. But anyway, rap changed dramatically when those two guys came on the scene. Before that, rap was also changing on the West Coast. You had Dr. Dre and the Chronic. and what they were saying, which was some great motherfucking music. Oh my God. Got it all up here. Can recreate it right now if I wanted to. But this ain't the type of show. I'll do that later. But the West Coast, it started on the West Coast with NWA, and then with Dr. Dre doing his thing with the Chronic, and DJ Quick, and E40 starting to pop out now. You got Mac Dre the Bay doing his thing. Rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you had some heavy hitters over there doing their thing. So they was changing rap on the West, and we was also changing rap over here on the East. And then it seems like once those guys ruled the airwaves, ever since then we've been getting rap that's just been on that same wavelength. Now don't get me wrong, do not get it twisted. The rappers that came out in the 90s, they still gave us a balance. You hear what I'm saying? Wu-Tang, they gave us a balance. And they were still dropping that shit. The jewels. All of them was. You know what I'm saying? You would never pop in a Wu-Tang album from any artist, whether they was together on a whole Wu-Tang album with them together collectively, or if they on their separate solo projects. You gonna hear some jewels getting dropped. You gonna hear some 5%, some 5% in something. You know what I'm saying? Something's gonna make sense. You know what I mean? So we had that. And then, of course, we also had this, they also did do raps where they was talking about, back when they were selling drugs, you know what I'm saying, back in the days. And those were just stories. They were just letting us know how it was. Can it be? It was all so simple then. Dr. Dre did the same thing, you know what I'm saying? With felt 2 caps behind his back. Then I heard 6 caps. I fell to the ground with blood on my hand. I didn't understand why a nigga so young could bust a cap. I used to be the same way back. I guess that's what I get. For what? For trying to clock the nigga for trapping nigga grip. Man, we had all that, yo. So but they were still coming out with music that was, it was changing. Rap music was changing. No more. We started the party, and then the artist that was producing the party like songs, they were dying off. The Tribe Called Quest was dying off. Leaders of the New School was dying off. Busta still kept going. He just changed the flip mode. But I mean, all that stuff was dying off. Heavy D stayed relevant for a little bit. And then oh Lord, we're not gonna talk about MC Hammer. And then we had MC Hammer and what he was doing over there on the West and how he was looking out for his peoples over there in Oaktown. You know what I'm saying? And I heard Hammer was a gangster. Like, don't let them goddamn parachute pants fool you, man. I heard Hammer would go up to you like a real man and be like, "What's up, bro? I heard this, I heard that. You got any problems with me? We can talk like real men. Or we can get them gangster shit. This Oakland, baby." You know what I'm saying? I respect that. But given his rap image, you would never expect that. And because he didn't walk around with guns, he didn't talk about fucking bitches, he didn't, talk about robbing niggas or selling dope, the people on the East Coast was on some shit like he's soft. This ain't hip hop. Hip hop is rough and rugged. But what Hammer showed us was that hip hop rap can come in many different layers like an onion. It can come in many different layers. You can get your love rap. You can get your R&B singing rap. You can get your I don't give a fuck rap. You can get your I'm gonna go out here and kill a nigga rap. Sell drugs rap, trap music rap. I mean, yeah. He let us know then that it doesn't always have to be so serious all the time. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what Hammer did. But of course, we know what happened to Hammer as far as this money situation, and I ain't gonna go into all that. That's a whole nother talk show. But there was a purpose behind Hammer going in the route that he went. And even speaking on Hammer, which is what I was trying to tell you. Now, about this time, Death Row and the cocaine, well, I ain't gonna say that. I'm gonna say by this time, we're getting to the beef had already erupted between NWA and Dre. That gave us great music. So now we're getting into the 90s. Now Dre is getting with Snoop. Another artist, brand new artist, came out in the 90s on the agenda. This is what we want you to say, what you got to say. And it seemed like every artist after that, after Snoop and all that, they was on it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that they purposely knew what they was doing, but I'm just going to say that the focus of most of the artists that came out after the elites had that conversation in the early 90s was focused on getting us locked up. You know what I'm saying? And the kids that was born after my generation was the ones who suffered, because my generation, we had already had jewels from KRS One and all those just Ice and all that, King's Son, all that. We was already good. So when Snoop and them came along, that was their way of getting to that next generation and getting them ready, prepped. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you had Snoop and them, Dre and them. On the East Coast, we had Pop, we had Biggie, Mobb Deep, Junior Mafia, Lil Kim and them. This before Rockefeller, and so yeah, we had that, and that's when shit started going sour for rap, you know. But again, we kind of still had balance. Biggie really didn't give us no balance, but Pac did. You know what I'm saying? If you listen to everything Pac says, he gives you a range. He gives you a range. Biggie gives you a range, but his range is more focused on trapping. His first album, straight trap. Nothing on there, I would say, was jewel dropping to the point where it would help us get out the hood or give us something to think about and make us redirect how we look or perceive things. He was just pretty much a reporter, letting you know exactly what he went through, what he was going through, the whole 9 yards.